God will make all things new. The promise that God will make all things new brings comfort, especially when we face challenges, pain, or loss. In the book of Revelation, we are given a vivid image of God's ultimate plan for our future. In Revelation 21 verses 4 to 5, we read, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." He who was seated on the throne said, "I am making everything new." This powerful verse speaks about the restoration of the world and the complete renewal that God promises. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. Imagine you are a child who has just fallen and scraped your knee. You cry because of the pain, but your parent gently wipes away your tears and comforts you. This small act of kindness and love in the face of pain symbolizes a much larger reality in God's promise. In the same way, God promises to comfort us and remove the sorrow and hurt that we experience in life. When we face grief, disappointment, or heartache, it can feel overwhelming. But the beauty of this promise is that God will personally wipe away our tears, offering healing and peace. It's not just a distant wish, it's a real, loving act of restoration. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. Life can be full of struggles, sickness, loss, financial hardships, and personal disappointments. These are part of an old order that God promises to do away with. The reality is that suffering is an inevitable part of living in a broken world, but God's new world is different. Think about how we feel after a storm passes. The sky is clear, the sun shines again, and everything seems fresh and renewed. The pain and sadness we feel in this world will be replaced by joy, peace, and wholeness. In God's new creation, death, sorrow, crying, and pain will be things of the past. We can trust that one day these things will no longer have a place in our lives. For the old order of things has passed away. The old order refers to the world as we know it, the one full of brokenness, sin, and decay. But just as a tired old house can be demolished to make way for something new, God promises to make everything new. The old world is not just patched up, it's completely transformed. When a person decides to renovate their home, the old furniture, wallpaper, and outdated designs are replaced with fresh, new ones. The result is not just an improvement, but a whole new space that is more beautiful and functional. Also, God's work in us and the world is not just about fixing what is broken, but creating something entirely new, something perfect and whole. I am making everything new. This declaration by God is a promise of complete renewal. The process of making something new often involves time, effort, and sometimes even discomfort. In the same way, God is at work in us, shaping and renewing us. Just as we might undergo challenges and transformation in our own lives, God is working to restore and renew all of creation. His promise is not just for the end of time, but also for the present. Each day, God is making things new in us, helping us grow, heal, and become more like Him. The aftermath of a wildfire. After the devastation of fire, the land looks barren and lifeless. But over time, new plants begin to grow, the soil becomes rich again, and life returns. This process of healing and restoration takes time, but the result is a more vibrant and renewed ecosystem. God promises to renew the world after it has been ravaged by sin and suffering. We may not see this renewal all at once, but like the land recovering from a fire, God's plan is unfolding, and one day the world will be completely restored. We can find hope in the fact that God's restoration is already underway, both in our hearts and in the world. Revelation 21 verses 4 to 5 is not just a future promise but a present reality. God is actively working to make all things new, and this includes us. Whether we are facing difficult circumstances, mourning a loss, or simply feeling weary from the challenges of life, we can trust that God's ultimate plan is one of renewal and restoration. Just as an artist transforms a blank canvas into a masterpiece, God is at work in our lives and in the world, bringing about something beautiful and whole. We can hold on to this promise with confidence, knowing that God will wipe every tear and make everything new. Let this hope guide and strengthen you, knowing that no matter what happens in this life, God's new world is coming, and it will be more glorious than we can imagine.